In this video I'm showing how I fixed an issue on our GE microwave where the front display was missing some segments so the numbers weren't displaying correctly. And just to demonstrate the issue here, when I punch in some time and hit start, the microwave turns on and cooks the food fine, but the display is screwed up so you really can't tell how much time is left. Fortunately, it was pretty easy and somewhat cheap to fix, so I'll just jump right into how I did that now. To start, disconnect power. We have to remove 2 screws to remove the front cover. I used a Phillips head screwdriver to back both of those out. Then if we open up the front door to the microwave, it's this plastic piece at the top here. Getting this plastic piece on and off was probably the fiddliest part of the whole repair, so make it past this and you're good. Don't stress if I'm making this look easier than yours is going, because I did have this one off once before, and the first time I took it off was a huge challenge. Next, there's a small screw down on the inside here that holds the button panel in place. This screw is in super tight, so do your best not to strip it. And it also helps to have a magnetic bit here so the screw doesn't go for a game of Plinko. After that screw is removed, you should be able to lift the button panel directly up. The control board on mine had 3 connections to the microwave. The black and white wires were on firmly, but I was able to just pull back on those to disconnect them. The yellow and white wires had a tab on the connector that just had to be pressed in, and the tricky one was the connector with multiple wires. I used a tiny flathead screwdriver to get up under the clips for this red plastic piece. I keep my shilling to a minimum, but I use this screwdriver kit a lot, and I like it, and I think you'll like it. And if you buy them through the link in the description, then I make money from that, and I like money.
I like money.
Once that red piece was removed, I pressed down on the tab to the connector and freed the front panel. Alright, so next step is to disconnect this ribbon cable. You can pull on the sides of the connector and it opens up a little bit. I had to use the small screwdrivers again here to pry gently in the openings on the ends of the connector to release it. Next we have to remove these 3 screws to free the control board from the housing. Then the control board slides down and out. And just to demonstrate why we have to buy the right part here, the button panel doesn't make the numbers in the display. When you look at it, you can see there's nothing there. It's just a window that the light passes through. So the control board is the part we need. You can see it has the components here that make the display light up. And since I don't trust myself to not mix them up and reinstall the bad part, I got the replacement part for $65 from shopjimmy.com. I've bought parts a couple of times from them for other appliance repairs, and they tend to be cheaper than the official GE site. So the new board side by side with the old one looks pretty much identical. I put the new board in the housing for the button panel, and then put the 3 screws back in that we removed before. The replacement control board came with its own clip for the ribbon cable. It seemed like it would be more hassle to figure out how to get the ribbon cable through the new clip than to just remove it, so that's what I did. Reconnecting the ribbon cable to the control board is a little bit fiddly. When I zoom in here to get a better view, what we want to do is get the ribbon cable into this channel here that has the contacts on both sides. And then the green plastic clip just goes into this channel. It's small and fiddly and hard to see and hard to get a good camera angle, but you get the point. Alright, so with that part done, we can reattach the control board to the rest of the microwave. I plugged in the big connector first, and even though I hate this piece, I'm sure it's there for a reason, so I reattached this red clip. Then I reconnected the yellow and white wires, followed by the black and white, which take a little more effort. With all the wires reattached, I put the button panel back in place and slid it down. Then I put the screw back in that goes in the top of the button panel. Alright, the last piece, this is certainly the worst, the dreaded plastic shroud. These fins at the top fit into the folds for the sheet metal to the outside of the microwave. I have no good advice here, you just have to keep pressing on it until it's all snapped into place. Just make sure when you're closing the door at first that it doesn't bind like this. I didn't have everything snapped all the way in, so the hinges to the door were catching the end of the plastics. I had to press in on the plastics a little bit more until I got one of those satisfying pops that means you're done, either because everything finally clicked together or because you broke it. Luckily everything snapped back together correctly and there was no more binding with the door. Alright, to finish up here, I just tightened down those 2 screws that we removed at the very beginning. I opened up the cabinet and reconnected power, and would you look at that. All of the lights lit up, everything readable, good as new. I threw a bowl of oatmeal in for 2 minutes. Not because I like oatmeal. Oatmeal is slimy, nasty slop. I'm cooking this oatmeal because despite being fairly confident that I put everything back correctly, I still have trust issues that the thing won't work for some reason. But also because there is good science indicating that diets high in fiber are correlated with lower rates of colorectal cancer, with every 10 grams of fiber lowering your risk by 7%. Plus, I guess oatmeal's not really that bad. Hit like if this helped you out, and thanks for watching.